Hey, what is going on, guys? We are here with a vlog about Cape Lookout Island. We just got back from, it was 4 days, 3 nights, or 3 days, 3 nights? I guess it was 3 days, 3 nights. Yeah. Because the first night we stayed at an Airbnb, and then we woke up super early because we had an early ferry boat ride, and I'm going to kind of explain why the ferry boat ride was so early, and I'm going to kind of show pictures instead of, I know we're kind of just driving and vlogging. I'm going to show pictures of the trip in the one of these upper corners to kind of show you guys like just kind of the journey. I didn't really do a ton of vlogging at all just because I was kind of just enjoying being out there. I didn't really want to shoot the whole time and worry about content and B-roll, so there's a lot of videos out there that do that sort of thing. So this video is going to be really about preparing you for a trip to Cape Lookout Island. And I would say we spent a good month or so really just kind of researching, watching videos, and trying to get pointers from folks in like North Georgia Overlanders, and just kind of get an idea of what to expect when you're going for 2 to 3 nights. We spent 3 nights in Cape Lookout. Originally it was 2. So I think the first thing was, do you want to go ahead and talk about the process to get the decal, what the decal is for? So if you guys look over here, there is a Cape Lookout Island sticker, and you want to go ahead and explain what that is?
Yeah, so it just, on the website after we were doing all our research, you do have to have that sticker on your vehicle, so it gives you the ability to park on the beach and camp on the beach. It's a free sticker, and you just have to go on their website, fill out, they have an email address, you send them the vehicle information, registration information, and the dates that you're going to be there. Yep. And then they just mail those stickers to you for free, and you just have to have them while on the island, because there are a lot of park rangers, because it is a national state park. So they know that you are allowed to be out on the island.
Do you remember what the website was?
It was on the Cape Lookout website, and if you go into like the beach camping section, or like driving on the beach, yeah, it goes over all that information, and it gives you a link for the email address. Okay.
Well, I'll have a link in the description where to do that registration and where to take care of that. Was there any cost with that?
No, it was free.
And how long did it take them to ship the decal?
I think we got it in like 5 to 6 days.
Yeah.
So it came really quick, and I was able to do it for all the vehicles, so not everyone had to do each by themselves. So they all got mailed to me, and then we put them on the 3 vehicles that we took.
Yeah. So, and I think the next thing is, I didn't see any type of warning for this, but reserving the ferry boat ride, we called it, what, 3 weeks before?
3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, so we called it 3 or 4 weeks before. That looks really safe. To reserve the ferry boat ride. And what are the 2 ferries that run out there?
There is the Davis ferry, okay, and then the Cape Lookout cabins and camp ferry service, which is one we used.
Yeah, so we didn't think this was going to be a problem because nobody really told us to do this, but we called 3 or 4 weeks ahead of time to the original ferry service that we were looking at, and they were booked, right?
Yeah, they were all booked. booked for the days that we had planned.
Yeah. So we called the secondary one, which was Davis, right?
No, it was the Cape Lookout ferry service.
Cape Lookout ferry service. And we managed to get, we couldn't get a Sunday return trip, but we managed to get an early Monday morning.
Yes.
That's why it ended up being a 3-night stay out at Cape Lookout.
But for the Friday to the ferry, the only one they had available was 5:30
in the morning.
Yeah, and we had already booked our Airbnb, which was an hour and a half away from the ferry, so we really had to be up at 3 in the morning on that Friday to make it to the ferry.
That was awful. That was pretty bad. So yeah, we had to wake up at like 3:30 in the morning after driving, how many hours? 6 hours?
It was like 8, I thought.
8 hours? Yeah, we drove a while the day before. We basically got to go make a quick Walmart run, then we went to get food, went back to the B&B, chilled for a little bit, and then went to bed to wake up at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that was pretty taxing. It made us pretty tired. Once we got to the ferry, it was a pretty easy process. I would say that was one of the coolest experiences.
Yeah.
If you've never taken your rig out on a ferry boat, that is definitely one of the coolest things you can definitely do, is seeing the sunrise on the ferry boat. And I think it would have been cool to see it during the day, like in the middle of the afternoon or something, hopping on the ferry, but it was definitely nice to see it. I'm going to throw some pictures up here of how it looked. But yeah, once you get on the island, the ferry boat ride only takes what?
It took 45 minutes?
Yeah, so 45 minutes from the start to the departure. And when they get you on the ferry boat, depending on how many rigs are with you, it is a tight fit. Like it's almost scary how close they get you to other rigs.
You put that photo of you and Kevin's truck like inches away. They look like kissing cousins.
It was pretty sketch. But once you get off the ferry, you'll probably want to air down almost immediately because the sand is pretty soft right off the ferry boat.
Or you could air down on the ferry.
If you have access to all 4 of your wheels, you can air down on the ferry. I mean, you might be so close to one of the ferry boat walls, I mean, you might not be able to access it. But so yeah, once you arrive there, you know, we were kind of preparing for horse flies and stuff, but we went in, it was what was the dates we went?
October 2nd to the 5th?
Yeah, no, horse flies. And a lot of people were like, yeah, you know, prepare. If you go during the summer or if the wind isn't as crazy, you might encounter quite a lot of them. And they said that the thing to use was water and, what was it, mouthwash?
I don't remember.
I think it was like water and Listerine. Mix it in a spray bottle and use that to deter the horseflies. So, but on our trip, we didn't encounter any. So we were trying to figure out a power solution because we brought a refrigerator. I bought 3 solar panels. Yet the entire weekend, it was overcast. So I barely got any charge out of the Goal Zero setup. We pretty much had to use most of the power on Friday and then drive in the truck, hit up the trails, hit up some of the scenic stuff throughout the day on Saturday to recharge the battery to last us through Sunday afternoon. But by Sunday evening, most of the food was already gone anyway, so it wasn't too bad. I'm gonna clue you guys in. I like keeping my rig pretty clean. I know it's a truck; it's meant to be used as a truck, but
she is used as a truck.
She is used as a truck and an off-road rig, but I like to keep my stuff clean. Like, I don't like stuff just everywhere, and it's like the Autobahn.
Yeah.
But sand, and I didn't quite understand it because people are like, oh yeah, sand is everywhere. You're going to find sand absolutely everywhere. It's going to be in everything for a while. And that is the truth. Like, we still have sand just in the truck that I swear I've vacuumed out plenty of times, but I'm still...
Shoes that I've emptied out.
All the Roam cases have sand. Some of them still have sand on them because
the tent probably still has sand in there. floor.
The annex. Oh my Lord.
gosh.
If you have an annex with the floor, you will have sand in that probably for the rest of the year.
And to add on top of what's worse with sand is it raining all day on Sunday.
Yeah.
So now the annex floor is wet and sandy.
Wet and sandy.
You have your own little sand puddles in the annex.
Yeah. So another thing, speaking of the sand, that nobody really recommended, but I highly recommend this. So if you have a waterproof canopy, almost like, you know, like a tailgate canopy, get 3 walls for it. Okay, get 3 walls to block out the sides and the rear, so you have some cover from the wind. It is windy, right? People did say, oh, it's going to be windy at Cape Lookout.
It averaged about 20 to 25 miles an hour the whole weekend.
Except the night before we left.
Yep.
Which was calm.
It was like 13 miles an hour.
So if you're one of the lucky ones that have a calm night, or a series of calm days and nights at Cape Lookout, you are absolutely lucky, because it was so windy. And anyone that is watching that has a CVT tent, be prepared to deal with the rainfly and move certain things around to stop it from flapping in the wind. It was so loud one night. We left the rainfly up, and it kind of, the wind would go under the rainfly and would almost act like a parachute. It would lift the tent, like you could feel it trying to lift off from the truck bed. I think it was Saturday night.
Yeah.
We were up from like 1:30 in the morning till about 4:30 in the morning. It was so loud.
I was fully expecting to wake up in the middle of the ocean in our tent.
It was... Like, there was never a point where I thought the tent was going to collapse. It wasn't like that type of thing that keeping you up. Like, the tent was strong.
Yeah.
Never had any issues. Nothing ripped. So props to CVT for that. But the way the wind was pushing through the rainfly, it was so loud. So we had to shut one side of the rainfly, and I had to, like, wedge a towel to channel the air out. It was really weird. But at one point, we got it all set up, and it was quiet. I was able to get some rest until I was rudely awakened the next morning.
FYI, if you're on the beach and you're bringing your kids, make sure to have proper morning etiquette, that not all people are up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Let your kids scream out the window at other vehicles.
Yeah. So get this. The reason why Julie's saying that is, picture being up from 1:30 in the morning to about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, not being able to sleep, finally getting to bed and being able to sleep, and then all of a sudden a Jeep rolls by with their kids screaming. This is a deserted, like, this island is so remote, you don't expect this. But some Jeep with a kid had their parents had their kid out the window screaming bloody murder through the campsite.
About 7 to 9 feet away from all the rigs.
Yeah.
At like 9 in the morning.
Yeah. So that's how I woke up that Sunday. That was my start of my day.
So be mindful of other campers and other people on the island. Like when we left Monday morning, it was early. It was what, 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We were very quiet. We didn't try to blind anybody or blind into, you know, people's tents. Like, just be courteous of other people out there.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, another pointer, and kind of back to the whole sand situation, is if you're planning on cooking on the island, you need to be prepared to have a spot to cook in that's outside of the wind, like away from the wind, because if it wasn't for the CVT annex, I'm going to show you guys a picture of how the annex was set up here. We ended up having to move the table and the cooking solution inside of the tent annex. That kept the wind and the sand away from the food. If it wasn't for the annex, oh, we would have had a...
And then people are going to be like, well, why didn't you use your CVT awning?
Oh, yeah.
That wanted to fly away with our tent.
Don't even, yeah, if you've got an awning, whether it's CVT or Rome or any other company, I highly doubt if there's winds more than 20 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to deploy that awning. It's going to be awful. And that awning room, I would be afraid of it ripping off.
Yeah.
Because some of the gusts can get pretty bad, but at least with the CVT awning, you're able to sandbag it down.
The annex.
Yeah, the annex to the tent. You're able to sandbag and get everything like buttoned down well enough to where it doesn't cause a problem. It can withstand.
The annex didn't move at all.
Yeah, the annex didn't move. So props to CVT for making such, and it's a heavy annex.
The other CVT product that didn't move was our shower solution.
Yeah. Yep. So we had a shower tent. I'm going to show you guys in a picture here. The shower solution came in clutch, and that's the other thing. If you're planning on staying 2 to 3 nights, depending on who you're with, you can always use body wipes, but having a shower, it kept my sanity. Like
after having sand everywhere.
After having sand everywhere, it's in your toes, it's in your feet, it's just all over.
Probably a pound of sand alone.
Yeah, it's just everywhere, and having the shower was clutch. And if you're interested in the type of shower solution that we use that really worked out super well, we used a 5-gallon collapsible bucket, and I'm going to have a link to the description. When we used a electric pump to toss into the bucket, and it was tall enough to where you could stand up and shower yourself. Basically, you just wet your entire body, then you lather up, and then you use the rest of the water to rinse off, and it worked out great. The CVT shower tent was windproof. Didn't really feel anything. There's a vent up top, and one night what I did was the water that you're going to put in the bucket is going to be cold. I boiled 2 things of jet boil water, poured it in, and it became comfortable enough to use. And one night, I got out of the shower tent and it was steaming inside the shower. So it was awesome. Like, it felt great. It's not like the most luxurious shower, but it worked. And the CVT tent had like an area to put your clothes. I had a spot to
put like your toiletries, and then even a spot to hang your towel.
Yep.
And it even has a hook, and it comes with its own bladder for showering, but it has a hook as well to hang up your shower pump.
Yeah, it has a gravity solution, and a lot of people recommend or say, hey, a gravity shower bladder is cool, but the pump thing was a lot nicer.
And it gave some good water pressure.
Yeah, and it gives good water pressure. So I think that's pretty much the biggest tips. I know we're at like 16 minutes already on the video.
Waterproof canopy.
Well, yeah, the waterproof canopy. The one that we had wasn't quite waterproof, so when Sunday it rained quite a bit, and it was soaking the canopy, and whenever the wind gust would hit, the water would push through the canopy, and it made it kind of miserable. But
overall, it was a fun experience. Granted, it was frustrating. If you plan to ground tent,
oh yeah,
you need to make sure your tent can sustain high winds.
Yes, because our friend that brought their Magellan, I think it was a Magellan tent.
It's like a 6-person tent.
6-person tent, really nice and roomy and spacious, perfect for like North Georgia with no wind. But as you see in this picture, it blew halfway over when it's set up. So it's not designed for high winds. If you have a Gazelle or you have a shift pod, it would probably work a lot better in this type of condition, but you need to make sure that you have a backup sleeping solution. Like our friend, she ended up, she had, what's that called?
A deep sleep mattress?
Yeah, it's a mattress, air mattress set up for Jeeps, and it's perfectly like molded to her Jeep, and they slept inside that, and it worked out great for them. So it came in clutch. It would have been sketchy for them to try to sleep in that tent. Yeah. So, but outside of that, we really enjoyed the time we had out there. It was a fun experience. I think if we go back, we'd definitely be better prepared.
Yeah, and I would want to catch more crabs.
Yeah. So what's the thing about the crabs?
At night, around 8 o'clock, if you get close enough to like the tide, a bunch of crabs come out, and then you go catch them. And so we did catch one. We named him Tony. We didn't let him go after fun to like drink, you know, have a couple drinks in you and go out in the middle of the night and just go looking for crabs.
Yeah.
Fun bonding experience.
Yep. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Those are kind of the biggest tips that I could recommend to anybody that's going to Cape Lookout Island. And if you guys leave a comment below, we did have cell phone signal. The WeBoost antenna did boost our signal enough to where we did have a good enough signal when we were out there. Even in some dead areas where our friend couldn't catch signal, we were able to catch signal with the WeBoost. So yeah, all that stuff worked out. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment below and we'll try to answer them for you. It is a fun experience if you've never been. I would say for us, if we were going to do it again, 2 nights would definitely probably be enough. You know, first night, I would say maybe 3 days, 2 nights would be the absolute perfect amount of time. But if we had to, I think we could do 3 nights again. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like I said, if you have any questions that we didn't cover, leave a comment below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.